Hey guys, Bearded Bricks bringing you guys another video. I've been waiting to do this video for a really long time, but I finally have both the Avengers Tower and the Daily Bugle completed, respectively. And we're going to be comparing the mini builds for this set. We're going to be comparing which characters are better, in my opinion. Obviously, the Avengers Tower does come with more sets, or more figures, and it's more expensive. It comes with more abilities to pose figures in certain ways, but both are very similar, one being Spider-Man and one being the Avengers. More than likely, it'll probably come down to which figures you guys enjoy more and the price point, obviously. We're going to go into more of that, and then if you guys want more in-depth on the builds, please check out the reviews that I have. I'll leave those down below so you guys can go and see them. But more or less, we're going to be talking about the external appearance of these sets, the figures, and how they would look in your LEGO city. So without further ado, we're going to go and get into that. Alright guys, so we're going to be talking about the micro builds that come with both of these sets and determining which one is worth the money. So keep in mind the Avengers Tower throughout this video is $500 and the Daily Bugle is about $350. After tax, the Avengers Tower is about $520, $530, $540, and then the Daily Bugle is around $360, $370. The first we're going to go into the micro builds, like I said. The first one we're going to go into is the taxi. It is just a regular small New York taxi. Definitely a cool build. Definitely it comes with stickers on the taxi, which is frustrating, but you can get them on there, look good. You got full bumper sticker, front sticker on the vehicle as well. Definitely neat. It's a car. It's a 6-wide car or an 8-stud wide car, so it'll fit in your LEGO city pretty well, but it is going to be larger than most other vehicles. The second micro build, technically it's a figure, technically it's a micro build, is Sandman in his like sand transformation form, and it is pretty cool. I think the way that it was brick built is really neat. I like it when they do stuff like this, when like they're capturing the action of the character. I think that's very it's very insightful and very intricate. It shows that they put a lot of research into this set to begin with. You also get a half torso for Sandman. I do wish that Sandman came with a regular bottom torso so that you could have him with just legs, but unfortunately we didn't get that. We just got the top. And now we're gonna get into the first micro build for the Avengers, which might be the best one, is the Micro Quinjet, which is sort of like a MIDI scale Quinjet. You can fit one figure inside, they sit comfortably. Snap this right back on. It has stud shooters. The wings fold up so it can fit inside the Avengers Tower, so you guys don't leave it. Again, much like the taxi cab, it has a lot of stickers. You get 2 here, 2 on the back, and you also get another 2 on the wings. It has smaller wheels, so it can roll around if you really wanted to, and you probably could make an airfield and have a bunch of these if you really wanted to in your LEGO city in a small like military area. But ultimately, I think it's a pretty good build. You do have smaller like machine guns on the front here as well, like I said, with the stud shooters on it. It's a good build. I definitely think it's really thought through, and it definitely does look like a Quinjet. Getting into the largest of the builds between both sets, we have the Alien Colossus Juggernaut that comes from through the Alien portal in the Avengers movie. It's opposable throughout the entire build. For more details on this, just check out, like I said, the full video. Mouth opens, wings move. Pretty self-explanatory. Doesn't have a whole lot much more to it than that, but it is very nice. There's a lot of detail, at least on the ribs. Definitely is a really nice build. It comes with this nice translucent stand that it sits on, like it's flying through your city. Ultimately, I do think that the Avengers Tower does have the better micro build, just because I'm more of a fan of vehicles and the like giantish figures. But I will say that like the Sandman really takes the cake for me. I haven't seen too many builds like that where you can see a figure in like I like it more when LEGO captures action poses. So I will say, if you're looking for more of like a playset feel, the Daily Bugle definitely has won this category, but if you're looking for more builds and more like inanimate, non-actionish type things, the Avengers Tower is definitely where you want to put your stock, at least as far as this goes. Now we're going to be going into the figures itself and why you should get either, and some of the favorites that I have with each set. Starting with the Daily Bugle, on my right, we have the Green Goblin here in the front. Obviously, I think, again, capturing the action pose is something that I think is very important, and this set does it in a menagerie of ways. You have Green Goblin, you have, multiple web shooters for Spider-Man to be hanging or swinging from. And throughout the build, it tells you to put characters in certain places, so that way it looks like they are part of the build. And then also we have like the spider car on the side of the building. It's definitely like again, it's more of a actionist type comic book ordeal. Again, you got Venom, you got Spider-Pig. There's Miles Morales that I have back here. I got Spider-Gwen on the side of the building. So the fact that this set does come with not just normal Spider-Man, but it comes with a ton of villains. It comes with Doc Ock. It comes with Carnage, which is kind of niche. I know he was in one Venom movie, but besides that, obviously he's a comic book character. You get Aunt May, you get Mysterio, you get a little bit of the Avengers universe in this set as well. Again, you get Penny, and you get a whole bunch of other characters as well. Casual Peter Parker, and then you get J. Jonah Jameson himself. Ultimately, you get about 25-ish figures with a set, and you get the awesome brick-built Daily Bugle on top, which again it just adds to it when you put the more of the figures centered around it, and it just makes that whole experience pop. I will say that like Green Goblin and Venom being two of my favorites, and you get Black Cat in here, which is kind of neat. Now with the Avengers, obviously you get more figures, but you get more duplicates. So you get like 3 Tony Starks for this set. Obviously you get the core Avengers. Actually you get like 4 Tony Starks. You get one here, just an Iron Man suit. You get one inside where he's in the armor hall. You get one down here where he's getting Loki's Tesseract. And I could have swore there was another one, but I can't remember. Obviously you get your core Avengers. You get Thor, Iron Man, Black Widow, Green Arrow, or I was to call him Green Arrow, Hawkeye, and then also you get other ones like Hulk, Rhodey. You get oh my goodness, Vision, Wanda, and you also get Wong, which is really weird for this set. I remember I mentioned that in my video, and I think Wong is just a really weird pick for this set. You also get Loki and a handful of the SHIELD agents, which are neat because they're unique to this set, but I would have wanted them to include, like, I understand Thanos was never at the Avengers Tower, but like, we just coming off of Endgame, it would have been a cool include. We got Wong, but no Doctor Strange. So there's a lot more fluff with the characters for this set, so you can do things with them and recreate scenes. But I think that's all those extra figures are, is fluff. It is nice to get like Nick Fury and a bunch of unique figures, but there's no Spider-Man. And it could be because this Daily Bugle does exist, they don't want to mix the two. And that could have been a licensing thing between Marvel and Sony, I'm not sure. But what I do know is that this set could have benefited from having more villains that you can use instead of just the 3 Chitauri you get with the set and Loki. Something to even the odds just a little bit. There was no even side build for this set that comes with more Chitauri to strengthen those numbers. It's just, hey, you get 3, you get the Colossus, and then you get Loki, and that's really it for them to fight. Obviously this scene had a lot more going on with it. And I think it's trying to capture a lot of that action stuff that the Daily Bugle did really, really well. But obviously we have no beam coming off the top of the tower, like the Avengers need to actually stop that. They could have done that by a bunch of translucent purple pieces. And ultimately we have Loki in a container which didn't belong in the Avengers Tower in the first place. So it seems like they started off really strong. They had a really good grip on what they wanted early on, and then as they went further and further into the build, they kind of lost out on like what they could have done. Ultimately, I do think the figure choices is good, but I don't think the uniqueness of each figure really stands out as much as it does with the Daily Bugle. So, some of my favorites from the set, obviously, is Tony Stark falling off of the tower after talking to Loki, and he has his wrist pieces on. Wanda's really cool. Vision's great to have. And then you have like 2 or 3 Captain Americas in the set. Obviously, I love getting Captain America. And Thor. Thor is really cool, like I mentioned in the review, with this lightning piece that he had. I think that's really neat, just being able to have it seem like he's throwing it. It would have been really cool to get another translucent piece where it's like straight instead of curved, just because you could recreate that scene from Endgame where Thor is, or Captain America is throwing the hammer forward. Definitely would have been neat. I'm just gonna put him right here. And so that's as far as I'm gonna go with the figures. The last part of this video is just gonna be talking overall about the build experience, which one is more enjoyable to build as you go through it, and roughly time span on what you're gonna go through when you build this. Alright guys, so going into the builds, we're gonna start with the Avengers Tower because I did Bugle last time, not to seem biased. So with the Avengers Tower, you have 5 levels. You have the main lobby, you have the research room where Jarvis and later the AI Ultron is. You have the meeting, the armory for Iron Man. You have Loki's cage, and then you have the Quinjet room, and then further on top you have 2 smaller rooms as well that aren't really anything notable, just have some Easter eggs in them from Avengers. Nothing notably. So up here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 rooms in this set. The build with this set is very straightforward. I will tell you that if you hate putting together windows, you're going to hate the Avengers Tower. I do not like putting windows together, so I had to build this set over the course of a week, over a couple holidays around Christmas, and most of it was just doing the windows and a lot of the exterior pieces, making sure they all line up precisely. They have to be put together the exact right way. There's no flex as far as the pieces go. It only goes one way, and that's it. I don't think that it's a bad thing it's that way. Obviously, sets that have a higher age rating or are less forgiving, obviously they're there for a reason, but I do believe that with a Lego set there should be there's a trade-off always between accuracy versus, you know, the experience of building it. And I think the Avengers Tower is really good. Obviously, I would never try to take apart the Avengers Tower like I can with the Daily Bugle. I find that once these are in place, these rooms, that you really have a hard time taking them off like you would a modular build. And the fact that this window opens the way it does lays more credence into the fact that this set should not be taken apart once it's built. It's very much, once you have it, you should probably keep it that way. So overall, I'd rate the build experience on this set, it's probably like a 6 or a 7. It's definitely not like a knock in the park, but it's definitely something that's doable over the span of, you know, let's say a week or a really long weekend if you're determined and you want to stay up late like I had. I think it's a good set. I just think that it needs, it could use a little bit of love. Or, well, there's nothing they can really do about it. It is what it is. I think it's a solid set. Overall, I rate the figures, the build, and just the playability and what it would add to your city on like a street block or a centerpiece of your city. I'd rate it probably a really high 7, almost an 8. Now getting into the Daily Bugle, we have 4 floors with this, but they do a lot more with the space that's given them, in my opinion. So you have the lobby down here, which has a bunch of chairs on it, and obviously if I wanted to go through and rearrange this and disassemble it, I absolutely can do that. I've seen people buy 3 or 4 of these sets and make them larger and have larger towers. So we have the lobby. In here we have like the bullpen on the 2nd floor behind this window, and all the windows can come off individually, so you can like nitpick and choose which windows you want to have out. The bullpen with like 3 offices for some of the workers, like just like Penny Parker or Penny, I don't know if it's Penny Parker, for Aunt May to be in there with Peter or talking to J. Jonah Jameson. And then you have Peter Parker's office. It's very cramped. It definitely gets the vibe of this is where he is. You obviously get the spider that bites him, a web, a bunch of stacked up boxes, then his office on the right with his camera. And at the very top floor, we have J. Jonah Jameson's office, and 2 spaces up here as well with a bunch of little furniture, a bunch of paid newspapers, you know, get Spider-Man, all that kind of stuff. Obviously, with 3 floors compared to 6, the Avengers Tower does have more in it. But I feel like there's a lot more attention to detail and love put into referencing the comics and other parts of the Daily Bugle. So if that's something you're more into as far as like building a set and experiencing like the little Easter eggs like the Star Destroyer had with the small 1x1 studs or other aspects of it, I definitely recommend the Daily Bugle for that. Again, similar frustration with this set compared to the Avengers Tower is the windows. The only unforgiving part about, or the little better part than the Daily Bugle, is that the windows are just the panes that stack. So you do them 16 times a floor and they're done. While as the Avengers Tower is individual window frames with individual pieces of glass. Both are pretty rough, I'll be honest. My hands were really sore through both builds. And that's just after hours of building and building. I built Daily Bugle over the course of a 3-day weekend, on and off throughout the day. It's about, I think, 25 to 35 bags. It's definitely a lot. And it's fully modular. You know, I can take each piece off. You guys can check out in the full reviews of that set. The most frustrating part of the build itself is building this window for Green Goblin to be flying out of, but besides that, the build is seamless. The only other part that could give you some issues is maybe these core pillars that are built up from the bottom that hold everything in place. But overall, I do think that it's a solid build through and through. Again, it's more of like an action piece and more of a play set than the Avengers Tower is more of like a city set. But overall, I would give the build experience, the figures, and my personal, you know, experience building it. It could be a good corner piece for your city, or like if you had a skyline, like a lower, smaller piece of the skyline. I would probably give it like a high 8, almost a 9 for this set. Obviously, there are issues that I personally have with it that's probably holding it back, but your opinion might be different on both sets. As always, I've been half-asleepchris. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below. Let me know which of these sets do you guys want, or which ones do you already have, or do you have multiple of both? As always, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I've been half-asleepchris. Have a good one.